first. You know, back in middle school when they taught us it was 3 branches of the government. We forgot it when we got older. It's the judicial, the legislative, and executive. But all we know is the executive. That's the mayor or the governor and the president. Now none of them 3 people make no laws. They just be checking them. The laws come to their desk and all they do is say no or yes to it. So when the news station tried to tell us that Barack Obama couldn't put us on, we was all salty at Obama when it was the Congress members all along. We gotta focus on the legislative branch. Yeah, they the ones that make the laws. Yeah, they the ones write how much food stamp money you get on the card. But when people that wanted to help us wanted the job, I know they probably lost. Cause we ain't even know their name, we ain't know their face, we ain't know it all. So the Congress or the State House, that's legislative, they make laws. So what we want from the president is what they do. Okay, y'all? See, they election every 2 years, but we don't ever even go to those. The Congress, they can raise minimum wage, but we ain't even really know it though.
Get up, stand up, have a plan, check your status, yes you can. Get up, stand up, have a plan, check your status, yes you can. Your voice, your vote, your voice, your vote. It's your power. Stand up, have a plan, check your status, yes you can. Get up, stand up, have a plan, check your status, yes you can. Our voice, our vote, our voice, our vote. It's our power. It's our power. It's our power. It's our power. It's the social action shuffle. Yes, our social action shuffle. Do our social action shuffle. Join our social action shuffle. Use our power. Use our power. Let's use our power. Use our power. Let me hear you say, use our power. Use our power. Let's use our power. We've got to use our power and vote.
First thing first, you know, back in middle school when they taught us it was 3 branches of the government. We forgot it when we got older. It's the judicial, the legislative, and executive. But all we know is the executive. That's the mayor or the governor and the president. Now none of them 3 people make no laws. They just be checking them. The laws come to their desk and all they do is say no or yes to it. So when the news station tried to tell us that Barack Obama couldn't put us on, we was all salty at Obama when it was the Congress members all along. We gotta focus on the legislative branch. Yeah, they the ones that make the laws.
Welcome back to season 3 of In These Social Action Streets. Did you know? Civics 101 podcast series brought to you by the Social Action Committee of the Stone Mountain Lithonia Alumni Chapter of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated. The members of SM-LAC and our president are grateful you decided to tune in, and we ask that you share, invite, and engage during the time you spend with us. Now, I'll turn it over to our host, Sora Lafanique Hamler. Take it away, Lafanique.
Thank you so much, Sora Shaniqua. Hello, and welcome back to Civics 101 in these social action streets. I'm your host, Lafanique Hamler, and today we're diving into something that causes me, and I know probably so many others, a lot of anxiety on election day. Understanding the ballot. You know that feeling? You're standing in the voting booth, you're reading all the complicated language and wondering, what does this even mean and why does it matter? Well, not today. Joining me is Shelly Abraham, Secretary of the Gwinnett County Democratic Party, and together we're going to decrypt the ballot so that you can vote with confidence from here on out. Hi, Shelly.
Hey, Lafanique, thank you for having me. Thank you for being part of the solution. I'm really excited because honestly, if people feel confident about the ballot and the vote they cast, then they're going to be more empowered and actually show up to vote, and then we're going to have a better country for it.
Exactly, Shelly. So let's start with the basics. So what is a ballot exactly?
Well, it's really simple. It's an official tool that voters use to make their choices during an election and is recorded. It can be either on paper or electronic. Most people use electronic when they go vote in person. There are absentee ballots that are paper, which can be mailed to you, and those are, good for people with mobility issues, but ultimately it's where your voice becomes action, and, you know, it's valuable for to be recorded accurately.
Thank you for that. And so if you're voting in Georgia, like you typically see the front page is what like people like spend a lot of money. So that's what you're seeing on TV all the time. And so the front page, most recently in November, you see the presidential race. We have it coming up in 2026. You'll see the gubernatorial race. And so that's for like that big ticket race, president, governor, Senate. But then if you flip the ballot over, you scroll down, you'll find some other races such as the Public Service Commission or things that people don't mostly vote in. And so you often hear people screaming, vote down ballot. And can you explain a little bit more about what that means?
Yep, absolutely. I mean, everybody knows who our senators are. We have, John Ossoff and Raphael Warnock. We know who the president is. We often know who our governor is. But if you were to be asked, do you know your state representative or your state senator? Most people could not tell you. And it's because, you know, for Democratic politics, most people just know the top of the ticket and they don't often do their research. So, you could be voting for your state representative, your commissioner, you could be, school board members, your judge. These are all down ballot. And oftentimes, I know the very first time I voted, I did not know who those people were. I knew the top two, and then everybody else, I had no idea. And this was at like age 20. So I made sure that that would never happen again. I did my research the next time, and I knew everybody on the ballot. And that's part of what it is. You have to do your research before going in.
I 100% love that. And I like do your research, learn who it is, and vote for every single ticket or every single race that's on the ticket. And so one thing as a quick tip I'll say is always check if your ballot has multiple pages or a backside. And then I know I typically vote in person, typically early. And with me voting in person, they give you this opportunity to kind of review. So even if you somehow think you've missed it or you've gotten everything and then you may accidentally click forward to the end, there's an opportunity to review. And there may be a chance that you might have missed an entire page. So always check how many pages, like you said, research in advance to figure it out, because then you'll kind of know what to expect from there. So let's get into that next part that really tricks me up is understanding like the ballot language. It's so hard to understand sometimes.
I mean, absolutely. Sometimes, reading a ballot question is like reading legal code. It's not designed for the average citizen, but that's why we have to, educate ourselves and figure out the terms.
Exactly. And so speaking of terms, so we'll sometimes hear the word referendum. And so I think that means when like voters directly decide on a political question, such as should we allow Sunday alcohol sales? And then you'll have amendment, which is a formal change to a law or our constitution. And then you'll see something that says measure or bond issue. And it's usually about approving funding or specific projects or a new school construction. And honestly, sometimes I feel that when I'm reading the questions, they word it all so seemingly positive that you're like asking yourself, why would someone not vote for this? And so it almost seems like it's on purpose.
Yeah, I mean, here's the kicker. Sometimes the ballot language is intentionally complicated just to confuse people and just get a reverse outcome. Sometimes voters think it's all positive and then they're tempted to say yes, when in reality they should have voted no, because the wording was coded in such a way that it evoked you to just say yes. And honestly, I mean, they're playing psychological tricks on the voters intentionally and the way what they write it.
100% agree. And I'll use from my own experience in this last general election in November. I had done my research and I figured out exactly what I thought they were trying to say. And then I get into a group after the fact and people are like, yeah, it was no. And I'm like, oh goodness, it seems so positive. And so the fact that it's intentionally misleading. And one of the things that I've learned from that is sometimes, like when it comes to reading comprehension and doing your research, it's also important from there that you also talk about it with your friends and figure out what exactly their perspectives, or talk about it with people who are knowledgeable about it, so that you know exactly what's going on, and try to kind of figure that out. And so to kind of help people, I've mentioned friends, we've talked about chats, but where can people go to get plain English translations of all of that legalese?
Yeah, of course. I mean, I can speak for myself. I'm literate. I can, I understand English very well, but even then I have to look 2 to 3 times, make sure I understand the question before I vote. I mean, it can be that confusing. So I know some people do break it down. Groups like League of Women Voters, often, nonpartisan guys that break, everything down in regular everyday language. You may have a state representative who, follow their social media. They may vote down. I mean, they might break down the ballot measures too. So there are resources in the community, and we should be taking advantage of them.
Perfect. So let's say that it's election day. You're ready, or you think you are, and you're standing in the booth. What should you know? I guess my first question is there a time limit? Is someone going to come knock on the door and say you're taking too long? Like, how does that work?
No, absolutely. There is no time limit. You get to take all the time you need. Read the questions carefully, double check, and make sure you're intentional before you submit. Because once you submit, you're done. You can't go back.
Exactly. So I know that they're always yelling, put your phone away when we're there. What about paper or notes? Can we have that?
Yes, you can bring notes. You can bring out, a pre-filled sample ballot that you can reference, that you filled out ahead of time. If you figured out the sample questions or the referendum questions ahead of time, you can bring that answer with you so that, you don't mess it up. It is all about preparation and coming in with a plan.
That is so good. And so one thing that I would say that's pretty important is that your cheat sheet or your sample ballot must be separate from the official ballot you're filling out. So you can't take a real ballot and then leave and then bring it back. That won't work, correct?
Correct.
Love that. So I would say that it's just, you have to have your homework with you, and making sure, again, we've said this, but voting the entire ballot. We cannot skip those down ballot races. And so how do you typically do any research on the candidates? Is there a particular website you like to go to? I know that we have our QR code to find out who's running, but I'm just curious to know, what do you typically do to research?
I mean, what I do and what everybody should do is go to the Georgia My Voter page. I mean, we can flash the QR code, but that is the place where you log in using your name, credentials, and then you can check your voter registration status. You can look up an entire full sample ballot that is tailored to you in your district. So everything you see in that sample ballot are going to be the people that you're going to see when you go into that voting booth. So you can print it out, you can pre-mark it, research all the candidates on Google, which I recommend you do. Research everybody on there, and then come in, and then vote, and use your power as a citizen.
I love that, and thank you. And so once again, can we just stress the importance to everyone who's listening today? Why should we vote the entire ballot? Yes, the big races are important, but what about those little races on that back page? Let's just emphasize that.
Yeah, I mean, there are many important races that people are not aware of, such as in June, there's going to be a primary for the Public Service Commission. Most people do not know what the Public Service Commission is, and even I recently learned more about it. And the service in public service is your electric utilities. Georgia Power is essentially a monopoly. They can charge whatever rate they want. So they're being regulated by the Public Service Commission so that, the consumer, us Georgians who are paying these, high electric bills, that our rights are protected. And right now we have people on the Public Service Commission that do not, support the rights of everyday Georgians. They don't care to keep our rates as low as humanly possible. And they will let, a corporation like Georgia Power, walk away with all kinds of corruption and, just passing on costs to the customer for their own mistakes. So it is imperative that you figure out what's happening with these local races and, come in and vote, be knowledgeable.
I appreciate that. And thank you for bringing up the fact that we have the Public Service Commission race that's coming up. In our episode 2 of this season, where we had Donna McLeod on, we definitely broke down that race. And ever since I learned about the Public Service Commission from that episode, I've been seeing more and more people complaining, like you said, about Georgia Power. And so I was thankful that I had the opportunity to share on Threads to say that, like, that's an elected position. Like, it's not just Georgia Power. Like, you can hold Georgia Power accountable through the Public Service Commission. And so, yes, everyone do research. Be sure to scan our QR code so that you can find out, one, check your status, and then two, figure out who's running for that primary in May. And then, as we learned on episode 2, you vote in the primary, and then you should come back again for November to vote in the actual election to put that person that you think that is best and serves your interest best in that seat and hold them accountable there. And so before we wrap up in this, let's talk about some quick action steps.
Absolutely.
I think, so first, what I have here is that everyone should check their voter registration at the My Voter page, mvp.sos.ga.gov. From there, always download your sample ballot ahead of time. As Shelly has said, you can take notes. So download the ballot, do your research, find out what the plain English definitions mean for these referendums, ask a friend. Figure out, there's usually articles. I found out that, like, the GPB website, they'll have some helpful things and some clear nonpartisan information where you can really figure out what is really supposed to be happening, what's the issue at hand. From there, the third one, research your candidates through those nonpartisan sources. Episode 1 of this season is really a good episode because we talk about finding credible sources. And so be sure to go back to our previous episode 1, to learn where you can go to find credible, nonpartisan sources that'll help you, sources that you can trust, doesn't come with any agenda other than to bring you information. And fourth, create that cheat sheet or fill out your sample ballot, and you are able to, that is your right to bring it with you, and be prepared. Anything else, or is that right, Shelly?
Yep, you're absolutely right. Preparation is power. And I'm also glad that you brought up my friend Donna McLeod. She also does normal language breakdowns for a lot of these referendums and bills. So she'll be doing those. The Gwinnett County Democratic Party will probably take her video and be spreading around to the community, because a lot of people are not well versed in civics, and unfortunately in this country we don't put enough time and effort into it. So we as a community have to tell our neighbors to become more civically engaged and give them these resources to understand what they're voting for.
Exactly. And one thing that I learned from her, she helped break down so many different things about who does what in that episode. And she made it very easy to understand in plain English. And so for those of you who are just joining us today, this is episode 4. And so we've had some really great episodes prior to this. So we had the credible sources, and then we had who are we employing, learning what people are doing at the federal, state, and local levels. And then from there, we learned about the power of your vote and why it's important to vote. And so we've had some really cool episodes learning about this. And I think we have to keep continuing these types of conversations to bring information directly to our citizens and making sure they understand. And so just to recap, when you understand your ballot, that means that you're voting with confidence. You can and you have the right to, and you 100% absolutely should prepare ahead of time. And you have the tools to break through that confusing language and make your vote count.
Absolutely, that's right. Empowered voters means stronger communities, and stronger communities means a better state and ultimately a better country.
Exactly. And there you have it. So if you missed it, I know I've said it throughout today, please continue to check out all of our episodes in our Civics 101 series, such as that Credible Sources Government 101, Who Does What, and the Power of Your Vote. We also are currently on season 3, So if you really just enjoy everything that we're saying, we have 2 other seasons that you can catch up on, and then you can look forward to season 4 after you finish all of the episodes in this season and seasons prior. And so from there, encourage your neighbors, your friends, and your families to volunteer, register voters, attend any local meetings, and most of all, stay in these social action streets. We want to remind you to check your voter status often. I see all the time that people, that our legislators, they're frequently purging. And so I know it might seem overly excessive where we're saying check your voter registration status. That is with purpose and that is intentional, because you might have voted this past election and you're thinking you're good, but there, for whatever reason, could be a reason that you get purged and now you're no longer eligible to vote. So check your status often and continue to remind others to do so. It's definitely going to take all of us, and you can always scan our QR code or click the links that we have in the chat. And thank you so much, Shelly, for your powerful insights here. And I would love to have you back. This was really great.
Thank you. It's been my pleasure.
Thank you. And so thank you too to our listeners who have tuned in. Your voice, your vote, and your continued involvement matter. Keep making that good trouble. Again, don't forget to check out the other episodes that we have in season 3. And in fact, check out all of the other episodes that we have in prior seasons. Click the link to subscribe to our YouTube channel and share with your family and friends. And be sure, if you're catching us from Instagram or Facebook or whether it's YouTube, not just to subscribe, but turn on notifications for all of our posts so that you can be up to date on everything that we have going on. And now I will bring up Sora Shaniqua back to close us out. And until next time, stay engaged, stay informed, and stay active in your community.
Thank you, Sora Lafanique, and thank you, Mr. Abraham. This was such a great conversation. I'm excited about the collaborations, the engagement, and most importantly, the social action component in so much of our programming. Stay tuned for our last episode of this season, Staying Engaged Beyond Elections. We are so grateful you decided to journey with us. Until next time, remember that I am social action, you are social action, we are social action. And now, enjoy some footage of the Stone Mountain Lithonia chapter and our community partners in these social action streets. Thank you.
You know, back in middle school when they taught us it was 3 branches of the government. We forgot it when we got older. It's the judicial, the legislative, and executive. But all we know is the executive. That's the mayor or the governor and the president. Now none of them 3 people make no laws. They just be checking them. The laws come to their desk and all they do is say no or yes to it. So when the news station tried to tell us that Barack Obama couldn't put us on, we was all salty at Obama when it was the Congress members all along. We gotta focus on the legislative branch. Yeah, they the ones that make the laws. Yeah, they the ones right how much food stamp money you get on the card. But when people that wanted to help us wanted the job, I know they probably lost. Cause we ain't even know their name, we ain't know their face, we ain't know it all. So the Congress or the State House, that's legislative, they make laws. So what we want from the president is what they do. Okay, y'all? See, they election every 2 years, but we don't ever even go to those. The Congress, they can raise minimum wage, but we ain't even really know it though.
Get up, stand up, have a plan, check your status, yes you can. Get up, stand up, have a plan, check your status, yes you can. Your voice, your vote, your voice, your vote. It's your power. Stand up, have a plan, check your status, yes you can. Get up, stand up, have a plan, check your status, yes you can. Our voice, our vote, our voice, our vote. It's our power, it's our power, it's our power, it's our power. It's the social action shuffle. Yes, our social action shuffle. Do our social action shuffle. Join our social action shuffle. Use our power. Use our power. Let's use our power. Use our power. Let me hear you say, use our power. Use our power. Let's use our power. We've got to use our power and vote.